how does your current portfolio look like with your what songs do you have that I guess the names that we all know?
Yeah, I think maybe Connor can bring back up the playlist. I think the number one easiest thing for people to do is to go to the Spotify search box, stick in Music Royalties Inc. And all of these songs, if they listen to them, they may not recognize the name or even the artist directly, but as soon as they start to go down the list, you're going to say, oh, I know that song. That's amazing. I can't believe I have a piece of one of those songs, right?
Right.
So when you're talking about the diversification across categories, sound royalties versus the lyric royalties, or the manager versus the producer versus songwriter, the pianist, and so on. Remember, the thesis is there's 5, 10, 15 owners on every song.
Right.
If we've done a deal with one of them at a reasonable price and it's a classic, a trophy, an iconic thing, then it's that these are the key buildings that are driving the dividends.
I think you mentioned you have Rolling Stone, you have Avicii, which has over 1 billion plays.
Well, actually, just as an aside, a week ago, go to Painted Black, Connor. Painted Black. Actually, have to go to the list of the songs. So it's remarkable, but we have a piece through Andrew Loog Oldham's manager producer role. That song is the oldest song that's streamed over 1 billion plays.
Wow.
1966. Can't Get No Satisfaction is 1965. And that's, like I've said before, whether you want to or not, you're going to hear those songs for the rest of your life in various places, in movies. I mean, it's just a classic sound. And maybe that's another point to make. One of the reasons I think before kids all started, playing video games full time, the alternative was you were either an athlete or a musician. And so this generation, plus their work ethic, obviously both Keith and Mick turned 80. They continue to produce and just released a new album. So they're working their brand still. So to have a piece of the classic, oldest active band in the world is our equivalent of a Mona Lisa that pays.
Right. Yeah, that pays. That's very important. Now, I think you mentioned you had Bieber before, you sold that. Do you have Taylor Swift?
No.
No, okay. You have Jay-Z, Beyonce?
That's right.
Alicia Keys?
And I think when you start thinking about the number of artists that you're aware of, when you start going down lists like, the top 100, one-hit wonders or of all time. In fact, you know what? Visual Capitalist has these great charts. I think I sent them to you that show the transition over time from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where we went from, Elvis and, Rolling Stones, Beatles into, Elton John and, eventually Michael Jackson and Madonna. And it's even if you're a passive listener, the reality is everybody knows hundreds, if not thousands, of artists and bands.
Right.
And so, if, a good example is that even if you don't listen to country music, you probably know Willie Nelson, and he's about to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at age 90. So, it's the awareness is not in the single digits. The awareness of these top artists is literally thousands. And one of the best ways to do it is just next time you're in your car is to go down the list of best hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and so on. And you go, for sure you will recognize almost all of the songs.